Okay, students, today we're going to do story writing. Yes, and we'll learn a little bit of how to write a story. Okay, so today and tomorrow, this is what we are going to discuss about how to write a story. And this week, you all are going to write an adventure story. Okay, so we'll focus on these two, and then we'll discuss how to write other stories also. Okay. Right. So, yes, what kind of stories do we read? We read real stories, we read imaginary stories. There are more of fiction stories. So, imaginary stories, what do we call them? We call them fiction stories. Okay? Right. Now, there are different kinds of stories that we read. We read adventure stories, you read mystery, you read horror, right? You read about yes, fables are there. Yeah, fables are there, right? So you have those stories. We have stories which have been passed on from our grandparents, and we've heard them from our parents also, right? So from generation to next, you have folk tales. Yes, right? We have some stories that are told in the form of maybe poetry also, ballads, isn't it? Right? So let us learn how to write a story. Now, when I talk about a story, first of all, let's decide what kind of a story you want to write. You want to write an adventure story, you want to write a horror story, you write a mystery story, or a social drama about society, about family, right? What kind of a story you want to write? So we are going to write an adventure story or a mystery story. Have you read a mystery story? Tell me, have you read a mystery story? Yes, we have read a mystery story. Which story did we read? We read what? Which one? The open window? Face on the wall. Yes, face in the dark. Yes, we have read that. Bipin Chaudhary, that was mystery also. That was so. Isn't that was suspense also? Isn't it? Yes. So we have read. We've read a mystery story. Now, when I talk about a story, I'm talking about an adventure, mystery, horror, drama, here. When I talk about a story here, thing that I need to remember is we are going to write adventure or mystery. Okay, right? So I have a plot of the story. What is my plot of the story? My plot is the series of incidents that make a story, adventure, mystery, horror, whatever. So a plot is very basic, very important for writing the story, right? So what is the plot? So plot is the series of events that make the story. So, like you can say, it is the skeleton, right? It is the basic outline which is there, and we add to it and we get a story ready. Okay, right? Now, when I talk about plot, I would also talk about what else would be there. Who will be a part of these events? When I write a story, I need characters. Yes. So, who are the characters? We have the people who experience those incidents. They are the characters here. Yes, they help in moving the story, right? We read about them. What happens in the life? What event was there? What took place with them? Oh my God, such a tragedy, such an adventure. So many things here, right? Karan, please turn on your video. Turn on your video. I've asked you all to turn on your video so I can see that you're doing your work. So characters are there, a very important part of the story. Can you see the blackboard? Is it visible? Yes or no? It is? Okay, very nice. So the characters are there. How are the characters going to interact with each other? How are the characters going to interact with each other? Yes, we're going to speak, we're going to talk. We have the characters, the behavior. We're going to have the characters with dialogues also. Right? Yes. Okay, then what else do you think has to be in a story? The setting of the story. What is the setting of the story? The setting is the place, the time where it happened. Okay? Yes. What is the setting of the story? Setting of the story is the place where it happened. It could be, right, yes, it could be in our country, it could be elsewhere, it could be pre-independence, it could be a futuristic time. That is the setting of the story, a modern story, an old story. That is the setting where it does happen. Okay? Yes, right? This is the setting of the story, and we have to give a description of that. We get an idea, you know, by the characters here, by the dialogues, the way they dress, the way they speak, what kind of time they belong to. That is the setting. Okay? I talked about dialogues. Yes, I'm given. Yes, how are we going to come to this? The dialogues here. Then what about the sequence of events? Right? So when I write here on here, this in the plot. Then what about, can the story go on and on and on? No. The story comes to the end or not? Yes. So what do you call that? I'll call it the climax of the story. You can call it an end, or I would say that it is that all the events logically come to their proper ending. Fine. How would a horror story end? How would a horror story end? How do you think a horror story would end? Yes, you can raise your hand and give me the answer, and I'll meet you. Yes, how would a horror story end? How does a suspense story end? How would a mystery story end? Can we just leave the story like that? Okay, we don't know what happened. Yeah, right. Of course, understanding the supernatural part, understanding the, you know, why this happened. You know, murder mystery, finding the culprit. Yes, so the secret is revealed, isn't it? Right? Yes. So at the end, right, there is everything falls into place. So if it's a social drama, it could be a sad ending, it could be a happy ending. Okay, right? So that is climax is the ending of the story. What kind of an ending can I have? I can have a sad ending, I can have a happy ending. Right? So generally stories which end with a sad ending, we call them tragedies. Stories which have a happy ending, we call them comedies. Right? And it's not necessarily a comedy story. Yes, it is, you know, like what, humorous. Okay, so these are a few things. Yes, climax is interesting part. The whole story has to be interesting, right? So whether it's an adventure, whether it is a mystery. Okay, now let's start here. Now when I talk about the story here, it is not necessary that all stories have a moral. So when I talk about fables, right? When I talk yes, so when I talk about fables here, right? So fables are what? Animal characters, right? So most of them have moral, right? And many stories they do have a moral, but some stories are there just to be read for pleasure, to be interesting, isn't it? Right? So it is not necessary that every story has to have a moral. Okay? Right? Now, when I start writing a story, obviously I'm going to give the title to the story. What are the things I need to remember here in the story? I will remember to give a title to the story. Okay? I will give my plot. I will have my setting. I will have my characters. I will have dialogues. I have a climax. right? Or the solution, or you can say the ending, right? How are you going to get a story? I will give you what? You can't please turn on your video. You want to ask a question? Turn on your video. Turn on your video on Yugang. Right. So here, all these things would be there. Now, I want to write an adventure story. Okay. What do you think happens in an adventure story? Yes. What makes a story an adventure story? Yes. Tell me now. We read about the summit with him. We read about the summit with him. Yes. So even though it was a personal experience, but what did it have? It spoke about adventure. What was adventure in it? What was adventure? It was climbing the mountain, right? The problems they faced. That, insecurity there, or an uncertainty that are we going to reach the top? Yes, right. So in an adventure story, now when I talk about my characters, there is a main character. What we call a character? The protagonist or a main character. Okay? There will be other supporting characters. Right? There will be other supporting characters. They will help in moving the story forward. And we don't have to write lengthy lines and describing each everything. And then he went there and he did this, he did that, he took a left turn, he took a right turn, he walked 100 steps. You know, we have sometimes dialogues. Yes? Dialogues are very, very important in a story. One character talking to the other, right? And then Ram said to Mohit, do you think it is right for us to travel at this time of the night? We have to take a risk, even though the road ahead seems to be very, what? Broken, right? Or it is not very comfortable. So let's take a chance. Let's see if we can reach our friends on time. Okay? So adventure is not necessarily climbing peaks. Okay? Adventure is not necessarily a treasure hunt. Although that is an adventure story. Yeah, okay? Yes. So adventure can be an episode, an incident that has happened in our life that gives us a lot of excitement. Okay? Right? So I will just discuss with you all, right? Of course, we have a main character, we have other characters also. You have to give the setting, this story. Now, supposing, okay, let us talk about an adventure story. What could be the setting of the adventure story? What could be the setting? कहाँ हो सकते हैं ये? Yes? Where can this adventure story be? It can be anywhere. It could be, say you had an adventure in the school, in your city. It could be the forest. Isn't it? Right? Yes, in an island. A simple incident here. Yes. So you went to the park. And you were there, yes, enjoying your walk, and all of a sudden at the distance you heard someone screaming and shouting. Right? What did you notice? That, yes, a lady was walking along the road and somebody snatched her purse and ran away. Right? How you chase that person? Right? You helped the lady in her problem. And you were smart enough to notice a description of that person. Isn't it? Then how you help that lady? Right? Were you able to recover the stolen purse? Isn't it? So this is an adventure. Isn't it? Right? What are you going to say to the lady? You see that lady on the street? What are you going to? You give a long description. Right? You'll ask her, yes, what happened? Right? Did you see the person? Right? Did you see the robber? Did you see the thief? Right? Yes. So let's go. Are you hurt? Can you stand up? Right? So let's go to the police station. You want to give a report, right? You want to make a complaint. All these here dialogues. isn't it? Right? So adventure can happen at any place. Okay, right? So the setting over here, you have the dialogue over here, the characters over here. You'll describe the characters also, right? You describe the lady you met. How old was she? What did she look like? And what were her feelings? How she was crying? She was hurt. She was all these things you would be describing. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes? Okay, let us talk about an adventure story. I'll give you hints. Let's write the story. Okay, I'll talk about, say, Ron and Harry. Okay, two friends. Okay, and yes, so they went on a picnic. So they went on a boat ride. Then weather became stormy. Now you're going to continue the story. Let's make it an adventure story. Let's make it an adventure story. Please write down the sense. The two friends, Ron and Harry, they went for a picnic, then they went for a boat ride. The weather became very stormy. What happened next? Yes? Can you write a story about this? Can you make it an adventure story? Yes? Give me a yes or no. Let's have a discussion first. Let's have a discussion. What can we write in this story? Who's going to start here? You can, in a suspense way, like your readers, they should not want to put that story down. They should want to read, okay, what happened next? Who ran away? Why did this happen? Who stole the money? Who murdered that person? Why the window is open? Okay, where's the sound coming from? Okay, who's going to start with the story? Let's make a story ourselves. Let's see. And what kind of story we are able to talk about. Okay, so once upon a time, there were two friends, Ron and Harry. They were having a break from school. It was a summer vacation. And one day they decided, let's go for a picnic. So they packed the picnic baskets with all the goodies that they wanted to eat, right? And they took out their bikes and decided to go to a nearby park and a nearby, you can say, place for a picnic, right? And Ron said to Harry, continue now. Yes, who's going to continue? Please raise your hand. We'll continue with the story. We're going to speak. Yeah, very good, Angel. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please continue with the story.
Then Ron and Harry decided saw a lake nearby the park, and they saw many boats along the side. So they suddenly decided to go on that boat ride, but Harry has suspected that the weather was not good. It was a very cloudy and a stormy day.
Okay.
And
yes, very nice, very nice. Okay. So all of you, you just you were right. Let's give others a chance. Who's going to speak next? Who'll continue? They decided to go for a boat ride, and Ron was saying, "No, see, the weather is a little cloudy. Let's avoid it." Harry said, "No, let's go. Right? Let's enjoy our day outside." Then what happened? Who would like to speak next? Jayant would like to continue. Yes, Vedanti? Anshika? Come on, Manya? Yes? Parisha? I should not waste time like this. Raise your hand, hurry up, hurry up. Next. Let's make a story. Yeah, Manisha? Come on, next. Everyone's gone to sleep. You don't want to finish the story. Vedanti, come on. Yes, Angel has spoken very well. Angel, you spoke very well. Let us give others also a chance to speak. Yes.
Suddenly
Yes.
so they both went for the boat ride. But as the weather was stormy, so a huge storm struck by, and the boat started shaking.
Yes.
So they both got frightened, and so
Okay, very good, very nice. Next year, yes, so Praveen is here. That very nice, Anshika. Okay, Anshika, come on, continue.
As the weather was very storming and their ship was shaking, they decided to dive in water and go to the nearby island. As they both knew swimming, they swam and finally landed on a safe island.
Okay, they landed on a safe island. Then what happened on the island? Who's going to
To
continue?
survive, they wanted to find some food.
So they wanted to find shelter. They wanted to go to a dry place. Okay, very nice. And I think so. Praveen has given me this answer that there was mist all of a sudden, and they were not able to see. And after that, they found themselves in another world only, in another place. Okay, so right here, Anshika said that they went to the island and they were looking for a place to be safe. What happened over there? Yes, come on, continue. Continue. We're going to finish this story today. What happened next? Prabhur? Sayam? What next happened? Yes. Come on, hurry it up. Nobody wants to give the answer. Yeah, Anshika only. Okay, fine. Vedanti? Yes. Who would like to speak first? Angel, where was she? She also wanted to say something. Yes. Yeah. Carry on. Yes, they saw some people they had never seen before. Come on, I've unmuted you, Anshika.
They met with a tribe.
They met a tribe, okay.
They couldn't understand their
You're going to
language,
describe
but
the
still
tribe
tried to
people over
convey
here?
their message to get some food.
Yes. So wait, are we going to describe the people over here, the tribal people, what they looked like? Yes.
They were wearing clothes made of leaves.
Can you describe them? Angel, can you describe the tribal people?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So Ron and Harry reached the island. They were so tense, and they wanted to go back to their go back to the park where they started. But they found a no way, so they started wandering in the forest. And suddenly they came across a village of certain tribals of that island. The tribals were were very primitive and didn't know about the modern world,
Yes.
and they lived in mud houses, wore the clothes made out of leaves and
Right.
skin of
Okay.
the animal.
Yes. Very good. Very good. Then what happened? Okay. How did they react when they saw Ron and Harry? Did they welcome them? Did they tie them up? Were they scared? Were they defensive? What all? Yes, Vedanti wants to speak. Yes. Okay. Yes.
so when they met the tribals who were very primitive, so uh, they thought them friendly, but the tribals they thought them their enemy, and they started to attack on them with their tools. So Ron and Harry tried to uh, John and Harry tried to rescue them. They ran from there. So now the tribals they were uh,
So the tribals were chasing them and they're running away from them. They want to save themselves. So where did they seek shelter? Where did they go? This is what the story is. So now our story is there. Ron and Harry stuck in a storm. They reached an island. They're surrounded by tribals, and the tribals are they're not very friendly because actually they are scared because of the strangers and how they are behaving. So what is? Yeah, so I getting this wonderful response here. Who's this? Right, it's Manisha, and yeah, they noted, and it was Hagrid and Hermione. Okay, so they have come and they noticed the weather. They entered the magical world, and yes, so that some people are trying to attack Harry, and of course, Harry is safe. And can we talk about magical powers here? Can we talk about strength, courage, anything you're going to do? Now, what is the end of our story is going to be how they're going to save them from the tribals, and they're going to come back to their boat and reach safely home. Okay, so each one of you, with your own imagination, with your own, creativity, you're going to make sure that these two boys they reach home. Okay. Right? So this is what your story for today is going to be. And please write this story, and we will discuss it tomorrow also. Okay? Right? So we've done doing this adventure story. Let us finish it today. And of course, obviously, people are going to write about it. Okay? So can we do this much? So we're going to carry on that discussion tomorrow also. So just write a brief outline of what the story is going to be, and then we'll carry on with our discussion. Okay, so good. So thank you all. Take care, and see you all tomorrow. Okay, right. Okay, see you all.